What's up, everybody? It's your girl Different, and welcome to Different's World Vlog. I hope you guys are having a good day. As far as me, not so good, you guys. Today's vlog, I'm gonna start it off with talking about an issue, a social issue that's plagued the states for so long, man, and it's gun violence, and especially with gun violence in school. For those who've been living under a rock, 2 days ago, or May 24, 2022, 18-year-old by the name of Salvador, excuse me, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correct, but Salvador Ramos, out in Uvalde, Texas, shot and killed, or went to an elementary school, Robb Elementary, and shot and killed, I believe, 19 children, two teachers, and I believe wounded 17 others. He also, earlier that day, shot and wounded his own grandmother. He was later himself shot and killed by a Border Patrol officer on the scene on that day. And so, such a tragic day, man, and senseless and unnecessary violence, man. We ask, where does this all come from, and where do we all go from here, man? And it just revolves back around to that same question that every person asks, or those who care about the situation, ask, what is it going to take for people that are in control and have the power to change legislation on gun control, and people who are able to get these guns? Because look at what's going to happen. Look at what's happening, man. This is crazy. My heart goes out to all the families and victims that are involved in this, man. And it's heartbreaking. When I first heard the news, my heart dropped, because he said the first word I heard was out in Uvalde, and I'm thinking off of Uvalde Street in Houston, street that I'm close by. And so when I first heard it, then that's why I initially thought it happened in Houston. I'm like, oh no, this can't happen in Houston, because first of all, they don't play that with the schools here. They always had securities every time. When I was in high school and in middle school, they had security. You had to go through the little metal detectors, and then they lock the doors after a certain time. So, and I often ask myself, why don't they have security in the schools? But some schools, they don't have the funds for that, and then it reverts back to the people that's in power. So, with that being said, well, we already into the topic, but just talking about it and my thoughts about the situation, and where it stands as a point of people's mental health, people's easy access to getting a gun, as well as people's thought behind just taking a life, or that reason of why they want to do that, man. I honestly, I can't speak for this gentleman, what he was going through and what was going through his mind. Obviously it can be argued that he had some type of mental issue to a certain point, but on the other side, he knew what he was doing. He clearly, woke up with the intent of taking people's lives, including his own family members, and even in such, losing his own. And so it just reverts back to we can't do everything about people's own mental state, but we can do something about gun control, man. And so it just reverts back to these people in power, legislative, putting in gun control, more restrictions for that, man. And I appreciate Beto O'Rourke standing up for, I don't know, for some of those who haven't caught on to it out in Texas. It's a really big thing out here in shoot 'em up Texas. That's why they call it that. For guns, people it's easy access. There's no really in-depth course of action you have to go through to get a gun out here. Everybody I know and their mamas may even have a gun. Every 1 in 3 grandmothers out here, they got them a piece. And that's just the way it is out here. But I also agree with, it needs to be more gun restrictions, and people, going through a more strenuous course of being able to get a gun out here. Abbott, he got to go. He got to get his ass up out of here. So for this, people out here, I hope y'all listening and paying attention. When you vote, what happens when you don't vote, when you vote the wrong people in office, and how your voice and your vote, it matters and it counts, man. Because this is the type of situations you come about and you have to deal with, when you have people in power that's being paid to look the other way, man, or don't want to do nothing about it, or that's rather be a part of the problem than the solution, man. Clearly, this man does not care about kids having easy access to guns and being able to go shoot up schools and take other children's lives. Clearly he doesn't care, because if he did, he would have been done something about this. He would have been put more laws in place. as opposed to putting in more laws to prohibit, blacks and Latinos from voting out here in Texas, man. So he's more worried about that than, a kid being able to get a hold of a gun and killing other people. And so that's just the way the world that we live in, man. And that's why here at Third Eye Entertainment, we talk about these issues that are often swept under the rug, including with gun violence, man, and especially with the access to getting guns. I, in my opinion, feel that, there definitely needs to be more heavier restrictions when you're going to apply for a gun, especially doing with the mental check. People need to have thorough psychological background checks before they're able to get a gun license, as well as looking at their criminal histories and seeing, if they're prone to violence and if such, have had a history about that. That also helps. As well as, thinking about it too, even within school, for those of people who are the students who you hear about going and shooting up their schools and people losing their lives because of that. Now I get and I understand that, that notion of that no snitching rule, but in this situation, this matter, snitching saves lives. So kids, if y'all at school and y'all hearing somebody talking about they're gonna bring a gun, or their thoughts of shooting up a school, or you see somebody acting weird or not in their regular way, or they're acting funny, say something, man. And at that point, snitching doesn't apply. That rule, it cancels out, man. In that case, snitching saves lives. So if you see something, say something in that point. As well as, that's what goes in ties to bullying, man. A lot of the kids that when you look at their background and you see why they did it, maybe a lot of them, not maybe, but some of them, the majority of them, have, experienced being bullied by their peers. And so then they reach that point to where they want to hurt other people, man. One thing I've learned about, this world, hurt people. And so, and such of us all coming together to address the problem and come up with the solutions. These are my opinions and thoughts of, ways that can, help. Speaking up when it's time, speaking out against bullying, heavier gun control regulations and rules when applying, people getting off their asses and speaking up, when it's time to, and my heart goes out. And again, as a matter of fact, I just want to let's take a moment of silence for those victims, those children, those innocent babies that lost their lives over nothing. And so let's take this moment of silence for them, please. All right, everybody, welcome back. We just took a moment of silence for the victims that lost their lives in the Uvalde, Texas shooting at Robb Elementary. Again, like I was saying before, for those out there, let's get up and do something about it, man. How many more people have to lose their lives to this senseless gun violence, before something is done? So I just had to put this video out there. And again, just speaking on people's mental health and their capacity. Again, know that it's okay to not be okay, but just don't sit there and not be okay. Go get help, man. Go talk to somebody about it. If you're feeling suicidal or know anybody that has that thought, please give them this number, the crisis hotline. If you live in the U.S., you can call 1-800-873-8255. 273-8255. I should know it by now. But 1-800-273-8255. That's the number to the crisis hotline, man. If you need somebody to talk to, you talk to them. Or if you know somebody that's feeling suicidal, talk to them, man. Do what you can to help them. Because if not, they're going to go off the deep end and more than likely take somebody with them. And so with that being said, you guys keep your mental health in check. I love you all. I'm praying for you all. You guys keep me in your prayers as well. Let's keep the victims and the families of the victims in our prayers as well and in our hearts. And let's just, take life, not for granted, but, what it is, precious, man, moments, because we're here one day and gone the next. And so with that being said, you guys, whatever it is in life that you feeling that you're destined for, make sure you manifest, plan, and prepare for it, and it will surely come to you guys. Difference will come and learn. Peace.
What if
in 1619 Africans started dealing in slave trading?
the tables were turned around?
What if they kidnapped millions of Englishmen, women, and children from their homeland and brought them to America on a slave ship?
What if a controversial paradigm shift is a book written to inform and encourage consistent, thought-provoking conversations about injustice and systematic racism in America through graphic but provocative illustration? What if provides a different perspective by detailing controversial deaths and events as four categorized paradigm shifts: historical, political, precedent, and hypothetical? What if? A controversial paradigm shift by author Different. Go to differenceworld.net.